Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome to Elle's Temple. My name is Elle. I am a goddess guide, tarot reader, and holistic healer. And today I am going to be bringing you a very exciting reading. The card that popped out, for those of you who are new to my channel, the way I normally pick the topic is to do a shuffle of either an oracle deck or a tarot deck, and today we got blossoming abundance, so very exciting. Now I do just need to say that this can be related to anything. It doesn't just have to be money or financial abundance. It can be related to any kind of personal abundance, an abundance of any kind of energy you want, maybe an abundance of friends or love or just anything at all. It's kind of, we're looking at, in terms of the blossoming aspect of it, we're looking at like seeds that you might have planted recently or last year and seeing how those seeds are going to flourish this year, because we're going to be taking a look. I've already pre-pulled your oracle cards, so we're going to be taking a little look at like where you've been, what's been going on for you in the past year, to get a bit of an energy check in, what kind of maybe needs healing or balancing out in terms of any kind of last blocks that might be standing in the way of your abundance, like really showing up in on the earthly plane. Because we've got the cards that we've picked are the Queen of Pentacles, and Pentacles energy, for those of you who know tarot, is all about earth energy. So it's all about, things actually showing up on the physical plane. It can be related to security, stability, jobs, finances, money, your house, for example, things like that. So primarily that is kind of going to be the energy that we're looking at, an abundance of, sort of Pentacles energy, if you like, those sorts of themes. But certainly, if for those of you who are like, oh, well, I am drawn to this reading and those things are totally taken care of, then great. It could be related to something in terms of a personal relationship or something along those lines. Now, before I introduce the piles, I want to introduce Goddess Hathor, for those of you who are new to the goddesses. So if you already know your reading and you want to jump ahead, then by all means, the timestamps are below. But we've got a presiding goddess over this reading. So she is a goddess that you can certainly call on and petition as you go through this journey. So you might see some of these things come up in your reading, and just feel like, actually, yeah, I need some kind of help. I need some divine interference or something to just help me shift and get to the point of this abundance really starting to come in. Perhaps if you've felt a bit frustrated lately and not seeing things move, just surrendering to the divine, surrendering to prayer, doing a petition to, any kind of goddess. It doesn't have to be Hathor, but, for those of you who are specifically looking for prosperity or wanting to call in prosperity, she is a great one to call on. She's known as the Golden One. Her message is prosperity awaits you. Look for examples of it in action. I'm just going to read the little message from the book about Hathor, because she's a really gorgeous goddess and it's quite interesting hearing about their story. So Hathor was honored in ancient Egypt as the Golden One, a divinity powerful enough to help with dilemmas ranging from love difficulties to the lack of prosperity. A goddess of fertility and plenty, she was believed to be mother to the pantheon of Egyptian gods and goddesses. Many also identify this goddess with the Milky Way, that beautiful band of stars so visible on dark moonless nights. Appropriately, Hathor was also honored as the Mistress of Heaven. She was so popular that at one point she was served by 61 priestesses in her temple. From the earliest times, Hathor was petitioned for assistance in creating personal abundance, such as help with a love affair. So there you go. Rituals also invoked the goddess for communal abundance, as in the creation of a generous harvest to feed everyone. Prosperity awaits you. Look for examples of it in action. So for those of you who you might be at a point where your personal abundance is in the process of being established, and you're wanting to kind of create more abundance for others, just generally collectively for humanity, you're concerned about, the earth and the environment, or poverty, or, a certain band of certain portion of the collective. So you can certainly use that reading to look at things collectively. But Hathor is a really great goddess of looking at, like it mentioned in the book, for assistance in creating personal abundance in whichever way that might be. So that could look differently for all of you. For many of you, this might be in regard to, like I mentioned, the themes of the Pentacles. So career, job, a course of study, maybe you're changing direction to a new path, maybe you changed direction already last year, or you started a new business, for example, and you're wanting to see, is this going to start blossoming? Is it going to actually take off for me? Is it going to be enough to support me, or something like that? So you can certainly use that for that. Otherwise, if it's more related to, like Hathor mentioned, you can certainly petition her for help with like a love situation, finding an abundance of love. Maybe you want more connection, you want an abundance of connection with people. You can certainly use it for that as well. So my lovelies, without further ado, to introduce the piles. If you're already drawn to a reading, like I mentioned, the timestamps are below, so feel free to go straight there if you already know which pile is yours. Otherwise, if you need a moment just to connect with the crystals, and see which tarot decks I'm going to be using, and if that's the way you choose the pile, I will be introducing those. So for pile number 1, if you are drawn to the citrine crystal, and we've got the Everyday Witch here. Sorry, the light might be a little bit glary for some of you on the camera. I was very much guided to do this reading this morning while the sun was out, because I feel like it's kind of a sign. It's energetically really appropriate because it's like sort of showing the sun shining on your garden, if you like, on all the seeds that you've planted, to see kind of what's going to be growing through. So Spirit was like, do it now. I was like, okay. So there might be a little bit of sun and shadow here. Well, we've actually, funnily enough, got sunny weather in Frome in the UK in the middle of winter for once, because it's been very grey over the last week. Anyway, sorry. So we've got Everyday Witch Tarot, pile number 1. We've got the Line Strider Tarot, the Queen of Pentacles card from the Line Strider Tarot is pile number 2 with the pyrite crystal. So you'll be pile 2. If you're drawn to the bornite crystal here, and the Queen of Pentacles from the Goddess Inspiration Tarot, which is the same tarot deck. I've got both the Goddess Inspiration Oracle. If you're really drawn to the Goddess ones, this is a beautiful deck. But this is the tarot deck that goes with that Oracle deck. So by Chris Walder, really gorgeous. And we've got the movie tarot, Lara Croft Tomb Raider there, Queen of Coins, and the green jasper crystal. So you'll be pile number 4 if you are drawn to that one. Okay, my lovelies, take a moment to connect with your intuition. Do whatever you need to do that. Pause the video, take a deep breath, have a sip of water, ground your energy, close your eyes if you need to, and then gradually open them and see which pile you're drawn to. And I will see you in your reading. Okay. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose this Everyday Witch Tarot Queen of Pentacles card and the citrine, then this will be your abundance reading. So I've already pre-pulled your oracle cards, and then I will be pulling from your tarot in just a moment to get a bit more of an insight into what might be going on or what might be coming through. But this is the guidance in terms of like where you have been and what you're shifting into. So let's have a look. So what you might be going through right now, or what you might have been through in the very recent past, is journey. So you might have been moving house, moving countries, moving jobs, relocating for work, or something along those lines. Or if not, I feel like some of you have sort of been changing direction. It's like she has come from that direction, but she's holding up a little lent and going towards that direction. And you've got it's sort of like a crossroads here. So I feel like if you're not already at a crossroads, you might have been at a crossroads recently, or you've got one kind of in the like coming up right now that you're about to go through in relation to perhaps job, work, business, career, that type of thing. We then got the Singer of Connection in reverse. I'm just going to lay the rest of the cards out and then we'll go into the messages. We've got the Mother Earth card. Let's see, put these like this. We got the Phoenix card from the Animal Oracle. We got Conclusions Are Within Reach, Full Moon Eclipse from the Moonology deck. And we got for the abundance energy you're moving into, very exciting card, Door to Value. So for those of you that are looking, I feel like this is definitely a very good sign if you're looking for, actual like a raise at work, I'm hearing, or, some kind of financial abundance or prosperity, an increase in your income in some way, making money through business or whatever it might be. This is a very good sign that is going to be coming in for you, and quite soon, which we'll get into in just a moment. Hopefully you can, I'm just going to check you can see. I think you can see all of those okay. Alrighty, so to get into your messages, in terms of, I feel like perhaps some of you, if you have been journeying, or in some sense, if you have been moving, because we got the Singer of Connection in reverse and Mother Earth, the Singer of Connection, I'm going to read the message from the Mother Earth book, because the Singer of Connection and Mother Earth talk about a very similar thing, which is grounding. So you can see in this card, this is from the Fairy Oracle deck by Brian Frad. This sort of light figure, this fairy light, has this almost like a tail that's coming out, and that's that connection with Mother Earth. It's like a grounding cord that we all have within us. So in our chakra system, our energy system, we've got the 7 main chakras, starting from the crown going all the way down to the root. And the root chakra sits around our feet and legs and seat. But below the root chakra, we have an earth star chakra, which this card here, the Mother Earth card, and actually the Singer of Connection, speak of that earth star chakra. Now, if you have moved, for those of you who might have relocated, especially if you've gone far away from your home or your tribe or something like that, if you've gone to another part of the world completely, it's not to knock that or anything. That's wonderful. The journey card is saying, you've got all these wonderful adventures that are coming to you. However, what can often happen, in the same way that, when you get a bit jet lagged, if you go on a plane or you take any kind of journey like that, what's happening is your connection with your earth star chakra becomes unstable. And through, for example, if you've gone, you've traveled across time zones, for example, and you get really jet lagged, it's sort of because with humans, we're not really designed to kind of go across time zones. So for some of you, I'm getting, I don't know how much of this is happening at the moment with COVID and lockdowns and restrictions. So some of you might be thinking, what journey? I haven't been anywhere for 2 years. We've not been allowed to. But maybe you did that as a job previously. I sort of get the energy of someone who moved around a lot, like maybe you moved house a lot, or you had to travel or relocate for work, or you just did a lot of travel to get away from home or out of your home country or something, or you've had to migrate for some reason. Maybe you migrated for whether it was for work or to move to be with a new partner or something like that. But whatever has happened in that process, you've become a little bit ungrounded, and there's a little bit of the guidance is kind of saying, because this came out in reverse, the question was kind of saying, where do you need to find your connection with Mother Earth? Where do you need to find that connection with your personal abundance, your personal connection with the abundance that the earth gives? And it's no coincidence that you've chosen this particular, of all the Queen of Pentacles cards, this is the most nature. It's so verdant, you've got grape tree, you've got a peach tree, you've got a strawberry bush, there's flowers down here. She's wearing a green cape, and sort of a brown dress, very earthy, earth mother vibes. It's very sort of, and then there's this treasure chest in the background, which is kind of reminding you that your daughter value, if you like, your treasure chest comes from grounding your ideas into reality and being really connected with the abundance that Mother Earth itself provides. So I'm just going to read the guidance because there's a good message actually just in this book. So rather than listening to me rabbit on about, which I could say many things about connecting with your Earth Star Chakra, I'm just going to read it straight from here, because straight from the horse's mouth, right? So you've attracted this card into your life today to remind you to spend more time in nature. Life these days can be quite fast-paced and busy, which can cause large amounts of stress and challenges. Mother Earth is calling you back to the womb, back to your core and your center. It's now time to reconnect to the flow of nature, where everything is in a constant state of harmony and balance. If you have been feeling unsettled or disconnected lately, then it is definitely time to feel the earth under your feet and take some time to stop, breathe, and experience the natural energy from the earth. The earth is a living, breathing being. She is constantly offering an abundance of healing energies for you to connect to at any time. While we exist here on planet Earth, she is our mother, the one that nurtures, feeds, supports, grounds, and protects us at all times. By connecting deeply with her, you will be open to receive her powerful qualities. The earth supports every single step you take in life and is always there to catch you when you fall. You are being encouraged to take a moment in nature and tune into her heartbeat as you feel the love that she has to offer. It is now time to open and receive a blessing from the Divine Mother Earth. Allow her energy to fill you up, refresh you, and wash away any fears or stress you have been holding at this time. You may have also called this card in today because you are currently working on healing issues you have with your own mother or yourself as a mother. Know that healing is here, and it is now time to open your heart and receive the love of the earth. And the affirmation is, my heart beats as one with the healing vibration of Mother Earth. So yeah, really, really gorgeous card. So there's definitely an energy of needing to connect with Mother Earth and reground yourself, and that will lead you towards this daughter value. That by regrounding your energies, regrouping after whatever this journey was, whether it was a metaphysical, spiritual journey of some sort, an internal healing journey of some sort. We did speak of with Mother Earth, mother healing, and also we've got the Phoenix here, which talks of like, rising. I'm hearing like rising from the ashes. That's what phoenixes do. They out of the death of their, it's a spiritual being, out of the death of its previous self, it rebirths itself. It's a phoenix, it rises from the ashes through it transcends all its pain through the fire that burns away the sort of ego self or the old self or its old incarnation or old way of being. An old way of being that wasn't working, its old person, I'm hearing like personality or personhood, and ascends to a greater, more expansive, you can see with these wings and journey. I feel like if this isn't about sort of a spiritual journey, it could literally mean, you're spreading your wings, you're going further, you're expanding your horizons are getting bigger. You're demanding more for yourself from life, and you're really, there's just this energy of like, I keep hearing root. As soon as I pulled this card and also the Mother Earth, I got this energy of root to rise. It's like whatever you've moved into recently, if you can connect with Mother Earth and really feel that connection with that Earth Star chakra, the connection underneath your feet. It's a few inches, I believe it sits below your feet, and connecting with the earth, which by doing something like earthing, like walking barefoot on the ground, which I know isn't practical for many of you at the moment. I've been wanting to do that recently in the UK, but it's been absolutely freezing and rainy and horrible, so I haven't been able to do that. So it's not always going to be the time, but even if you can put your hands on the earth or just somehow even just go for a walk, and consciously and intentionally ask for your Earth Star chakra to connect in with the healing energies of Mother Earth. And then from there, you can rise up like this phoenix from the ashes. You can send any energy down that cord, down this singer of connection cord, this tail, if you like, that's going down into the earth. You can send that energy, because at the moment, this card came out in reverse, and it's like you're ungrounded, like you don't have that tail. It's like you're just sort of floating about. And I do very much get this energy of, if you haven't been flying a lot, that you might be an air sign, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or just be very, like in terms of Ayurvedic, very Vata, which is like very ruled by the air element. So up in your head a lot and ping, lots of ideas kind of thing, like very creative, lots of inspiration, but not a lot of like actually grounding things into reality. And it's like you need to kind of find that grounding cord and replant it wherever you are. If you have been on a journey, you've moved countries, you've been moving around, you've been traveling a lot, now is the time to like reconnect with Mother Earth and like feel that grounding cord. And then you can ground that liberating current that goes like up and down through the chakras, where you get all that inspiring inspiration and so forth, and ground it down into the earth, into like actual practical projects, and then receive the abundance that you deserve for those. Because I do feel like for some of you with the Phoenix here, there must have been something in your past perhaps, and it might have been something that you've gone on a journey to, whether that's a spiritual one or a physical one, to move away from, and you're ascending out of that now. You can see there's all this dark energy underneath. This is actually, funnily enough, this brownie color, this ochre color, is like the earth star chakra. It's that core of the earth, the core of you that you need to connect with. And then you've got the root chakra here, which is symbolized by the color red. And then you've got the sacral chakra here, symbolized by the color orange, which is the element of fire. So we've got the element of earth, the element of fire, going into the solar plexus chakra, which is the color yellow, which is all about shining your light and spreading your wings. And funnily enough, we've got the same color scheme here as well. We've got the red or the brown, and sort of orange, and then yellow with the solar plexus chakra as well. The sort of orange here. So it's sort of a fiery sun, definitely sun. And we had the sun came out. You can't see it so much. Oh, there we go. It's coming out again now. The sun came out for your reading today. So I feel like, the sun is going to rise again for you. But it's important to ground and really connect with Mother Earth, and then rise from a sort of rooted place rather than from a kind of scattered or stressed place, like trying to spread your wings and expand your business if it's a business, or receive clients or money of some sort, like expand your wings in your career or job, or maybe a path of study. It's going to be very difficult if you're sort of uprooted and moving around a lot. So maybe some of you have some issues with finding a stable home, maybe, and I'm definitely getting a stress feeling coming through for some of you. So that might, that won't be for all of you, but for some of you, it's like it's been a long journey trying to find a stable home. Maybe you've been trying to move house or something. But once you are rooted, then you can really rise. So it's really important to get that foundation in place first, because without that, earth star connection with Mother Earth, and feeling grounded, and connecting with the earth, and going outside and seeing the abundance in the like verdant nature, that nature is just, there's an abundance everywhere. So if you feel like, oh, there is no abundance, like, there's just nothing is abundant, nothing's blossoming for me, but it's like reminding you that you are a child of the earth as well. And in the same way that, like, if you go outside and you just see, I know for some of you it might be winter at the moment, so there might not be a lot of abundance blossoming, but even in winter there's still evergreen trees, right? And so there's still blossoming, there's still things growing, there's still things even growing under the surface, that come out in spring. And it's like just those cycles. And you're a child of nature. So we come from nature, we come from Mother Earth. We're a creature of the earth. So we have the same abilities to receive abundance, in the same, like this abundance is all around us, like these grapes from this tree and these peaches from this tree. It's like, even if we can't see it in terms of monetary value just yet, you can just go out, for a walk in nature and see and focus on the abundance that's just in nature. I mean, it's probably no coincidence as well that this card, Blossoming Abundance, it doesn't really show like banks and, building loan societies or anything like that. It shows nature, because that is the most abundant thing, really. And also, most of what we need really does come from nature. And it's kind of reminding you of that when you feel like any kind of scarcity, or if you fall back into those lower energies that you might have been through, that you're trying to transcend out of, it's important, or feeling disconnected from your abundance, it's important to, remember that, like, nature really does have everything for us, in the sense that, like, food comes from nature, our connection with what I was speaking about with the Mother Earth, your protection, your sense of nurturing, your sense of groundedness. You can heal through Mother Nature, you can heal through the earth. Some of you might be also, because you've picked the Everyday Witch Tarot, there might be, I'm hearing like it might be valuable if you don't already look into this, as sort of something related to Wiccan or paganism or neo-paganism, connection to the wheel of the year, the cycles of nature, earth medicine, plant medicine, that type of thing might be quite helpful for you or useful for you, but that might just be for some of you. The good news is that once you've gone through this reconnecting with Earth, which I feel like for most of you, you're already, because you've got the Phoenix card, which is the element of spirit, you're already quite spiritual beings, I feel like, and it's just restoring that connection with Earth. I feel like you have a strong connection with spirit already. You're kind of already rising up and ascending towards your spiritual connection, but it's just a matter of kind of balancing those things of like having that spiritual connection, but also keeping your feet on the ground and like grounding those ideas into life, feeling the connection with Mother Earth very strongly and healing anything, sending anything down that cord that needs to be healed, because there's an abundance of healing available to you. And I know I can hear some of you like, oh God, when is the end of this healing journey? The Phoenix and the journey, it might well have been a healing journey you might have been on. And you're just a bit fed up. I feel like I'm definitely getting an energy of someone who's quite fed up. But the more that you connect with Mother Earth, the lighter you will feel, because the more those energies that feel like that those heavy energies that feel like they've been keeping you down and weighing you down, they will fall away, because you'll be it's like your God, what's that thing called with the fertilizer? It's like you're fertilizing your rebirth in a way. You're by sending any of those heavy or dense energies or anything that needs to be healed, any old wounds or anything like that, down into the earth. That's kind of fertilizing and giving you. It's that root to rise. It's like you're sending down any energies that aren't serving you, anything ungrounded, anything you might have picked up along the way, any limiting beliefs or whatever, by connecting that cord into Mother Earth. And then you're able to rise and really revitalize your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus, and shine your light. And then you will receive these doors to value. The door to your value will start to open up. It's like with this card, it's not like it's fully open, but it's like I'm hearing like windfall. So there's like at some point soon, possibly around the full moon eclipse, which I believe is, I think, if you're watching this when this is uploaded in January, that is around I think it's the 9th of May is the first one, but you might want to check that. Or if you're watching this later, then just see whenever the next full moon eclipse is. But it feels like conclusions are within reach. And again, you've got the same colors, the red, orange, and yellow. So you've got the sort of the gray with the earth star chakra connect with the ground, the earth. Then you've got, rise root first, heal any root chakra wounds, heal any sacral chakra wounds, and then you can shine your light. And once you are shining your light, money will just start to come towards you. You'll see your own value, once you've risen like this phoenix from the ashes kind of thing. So really, really beautiful reading, part one. I'm just going to pull a couple of cards from the Everyday Witch to get a bit more of an insight into any kind of specifics around this abundance. Oops. Okay, so Spirit, pile number one, what's coming through for their abundance? Pile number one, what's coming through for pile one's abundance? Two of Pentacles, yeah. Juggling options. You're going to have some options coming through. It's like this girl's, maybe for some of you, if this is a job, you could have two. And also we've got the figure 8, which is the infinity symbol, and the number 8 is a symbol of abundance as well. So this could very much mean financial abundance. As we talked about the introduction, Pentacles is related to security, stability, job, finances, and so forth. And she's standing on a seesaw here with one foot on either side and holding two coins out, being like, is it this one or this one? So you might have a couple of job offers come in once you're really connected with your sense of value. Around this, conclusions are within reach time, the full moon eclipse. So this could be, or a couple of different career path options that are coming in for those of you that are weighing up, some kind of change in career. For those of you, I spoke at the beginning about some of you were at a crossroads and you're going, should I go this way or should I go that way, with where the light is pointing? So there's definitely a sense of juggling some options, but you have options coming in to juggle. So that's certainly a very good sign that things are shifting in relation to your coin, to your money. There's going to be different ways for you to gain prosperity. What else is coming in terms of abundance for pile one? What abundance? Ooh, oh, wow. Page of Swords. Yeah, so some of you might be, with these books here, you might be going back to study. Swords can speak of like the mind, the intellect. Again, I did get a very strong air, sort of air energy from some of you, as I was speaking about before, with the some of you being a bit disconnected, with this Singer of Connection being in reverse. It's like you're very, you're a bit imbalanced in terms of your root, or the lower chakras, but you're very, you might be an air sign or have a lot of air placements in your chart or something. Be very smart, be very intelligent, be good at studying. So maybe with this page and the way he's like kind of triumphantly putting a sword in the air, it's like, yes, I'm going to do this. So maybe after this Two of Pentacles weighing up options, you're like, yep, I'm going to go back to school, I'm going to study this, or I'm going to take this course, I'm going to become certified. I'm hearing some of you might be writing something. But there's some kind of decision and some kind of, it's not a, with the page energy, it's kind of a young, innocent energy, but it's very enthusiastic and very like, you might be getting some messages as well with Page of Swords. That can often speak of messenger energy. So maybe with this Two of Pentacles, you're weighing up different options, you're waiting to hear about something, you're juggling a few different things, and then you get this message through, yes, I'm going to take this job, or I've been offered this job, or this career path, or this business opportunity, or something like that is going to come in for you. And then we've got Four of Wands, so success, celebration, creating a foundation in something, something you're passionate about, something that brings you a lot of joy. So, you know, again, abundance doesn't have to be finances, although I feel like for you, pile one, it, for all the, don't tell the other piles this, but compared with some of the other piles, you got the most like financially prosperous card in the Energy Oracle deck in a way, with all this money kind of flying out. So I do feel like for you, it is finding that kind of inner gold, that inner treasure, and then, you know, think it's going to start coming in. And, you know, there's quite similar energy in terms of the sort of celebratory with all the ribbons. You've got, again, red, orange, yellow here. So there's some kind of foundation that's being laid that is leading to success, leading to, Four of Wands can speak of, well, it's more to do with like less about other people seeing as you successful, although it can speak of like recognition, but it like formal recognition of some sort. But it's more of like an internally creating a foundation in something. So whatever this idea is, whether it's like a new business, a new study, something like that, it's like you've created a strong foundation. It's almost like you've got a good community around you. You're celebrating it with people. You're really in tune with your passion and your magic, and you're really creating something. So this could be within a team. So maybe you where you're juggling something here, you're moving into a new team at work and you're celebrating, and this is you having a work party or something like that. For others of you, this could be within your business. You've built a bit of a community and built that foundation, and you're getting that recognition and success and sort of celebration. You know, you're celebrating your business wins, if you like, or getting clients or money in. But whatever it is that you wanted to start, that you put your foot forward and said, yep, I'm going to do that, or I'm really going to go after this. And this might have been a seed that you planted last year, maybe with that journey card, deciding to move or relocate or start something new. That's really leading to this Four of Wands. It's really saying like, yeah, whatever you decide on, or whatever you decided on, for those of you who already did the decision to study or something, and maybe you're just watching this because you're like, oh, did I make the right decision, and is it going to pan out, and am I going to get abundance, and am I going to make money from this, and like, is this even going to work? Like, you know, or maybe you've started a business and you're like, you're not seeing clients yet or something, and you're juggling two things. You know, you're trying to run a business and still go to work, you know, part-time or full-time at the same time, and it's kind of saying you're gonna, you know, decide to kind of follow follow something, really follow it through, with that Mother Earth, ground those ideas, bring them into being. You'll be celebrating with, money, clients, success, achievement, recognition, if that's what you want, or just good times, really. And this value is going to be coming in. This money, if that's what you want, is going to be coming in for you. Or if it's something else that you want abundance in, in some kind of, maybe social times for some of you. This could speak of, so like we've got 4 female friends here. So maybe some of you are looking, you've moved countries or something and you're looking for a group of friends, and this is saying success, that decision to move was the right one. You've now got a community around you. You've got, an abundance of social times around you. So it could be something like that. 4 of Wands can also speak of a wedding. So for those of you that are reading this in terms of an abundance of personal connection, for love, although I don't feel like it's that kind of reading, but if that's what resonated for you and that's what spoke to you, then that could mean that. But I feel like this is a more general celebration, like a work type celebration or a business type celebration. Maybe a promotion. Maybe you land a big client for your company or something, and they're celebrating you and saying, hey, pal one, like, we're going to throw a party in your honor because you've brought in this big client or something. So it could be something like that. But I definitely feel like for pile 1, you are on the path already. You've already sowed those seeds, or you will be in the imminent near future. So that is all the messages that I have for you, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your likes, for your subscribes. Please leave me a comment below if this resonated. I really love to hear from you. Obviously, this is a general reading, so just take what resonates and leave the rest. But if you would like a private reading, I am currently open. I have a few slots left for January, I believe. So my details are below, website is below, and you can book. I've got a link tree where you can just book and pay direct. It's all secure through that. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you today, pile 1. I love doing this reading for you. All the best, and see you in the next reading. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile 2. If you chose the Fool's Gold, Pyrite, Crystal, and the Line Strider Tarot Queen of Pentacles, then this will be your pile. I'll put that over there. So I've already pre-pulled your oracle cards, so we're going to go into some guidance. So we're going to be starting with the energy that you have been in and what you're moving into, and some healing messages in between to call in this abundance. So we got the Thinking Woman in reverse as the energy you're coming out of. We got She of the Cruac from the Fairy Oracle deck. We got the Swan card from the Animal Oracle, Wild Unknown Animal Oracle deck. We got the Determination card, which is the Solar Plexus Chakra from the Chakra deck. See that all right? And we got the Fiery Climax Approaches Full Moon in Aries from the Moonology deck. And we got the Action card from the Energy Oracle deck as the energy that you are moving into. Okay, so beautiful pile 2s. I'm going to start by reading the Thinking Woman, the message from the book for the Thinking Woman in reverse. So this is the energy that you've been in or are about to move out of or have just moved out of. So this card reverse could represent a difficult time for your own personal growth. You may be feeling confused about your personal purpose or disconnected from your heart's true path. Look within and open up to your own inner guidance. Trust your intuition about what you need to learn in order to move on. The Thinking Woman reverse could also indicate a woman who is... Oh, okay, no, never mind. I'm just being guided to not read that because it's not applicable. It's the bit about trusting your intuition about what you need to learn in order to move on. And the affirmation is, I open my mind and heart to my own inner wisdom. I am thoughtful, focused, and clear. Okay, so if that resonates for you, that means this is your pile. I feel like the message from this card reverse is very similar to the message from these 2 cards, the She of the Cruac and the Swan, because the She of the Cruac talks about listening to your inner wisdom, to your inner feminine voice, your inner intuition, and letting it speak through you. You can see there's a lot of blue on this card and sort of lilac purple, which is related to the throat. Actually, I'm getting, it is more purpley, which is related to the throat chakra and the third eye chakra. And She of the Correct talks about that kind of goddess energy, that inner feminine energy. You can see it's almost like it's a little bit like a womb vessel. There's like that sense energy of like a cup or something, kind of almost like the womb space. Yeah, like a kind of a. I can't think of the exact word biologically, but it's a bit like that. It's like the vessel of the womb, within a woman. But essentially, She of the Correct, in terms of the energy, it's like the energy of where you brew. It's almost like that feminine fertile energy where you plant a seed and then you nurture it and grow it within the womb space, kind of thing. So there's really this need to go within and like really connect with your feminine receptive self, because I feel like with the thinking woman and the thinking woman, sort of the energy of the thinking woman and the thinking woman in reverse is kind of going with your being ruled by your thoughts. And with this action card, we've got, it speaks of balance, because it speaks of balancing your like yin and yang energies. Like the black horse is the kind of almost like the She of the Crook. It's like the darkness of the womb that receives the insight and the idea and the wisdom, if you like. But then like maybe you have all this knowledge or wisdom and you're just sitting there thinking about it, and so there's the energy you're going to be moving into is this white horse of taking action on something and moving towards something. And it's interesting, we've got the number 17 here because that reduces to 8 numerologically, and the number 8 is a number of abundance. So it's sort of like saying it's time to stop thinking about things or overthinking things. Connect with your inner feminine intuitive self, because you felt there was a mention about feeling disconnected from your purpose or something. So it's like maybe you've been overthinking that, or not taking action on it, or not being very clear on what your intuitive voice is telling you. And it's sort of saying there needs to be a balance of like your masculine and feminine energies, or your yin and yang energies. This card is very yin yang with the black and white and the two horses. It's kind of, it also reminds me of the chariot card in tarot, which for those of you who know tarot, in the Rider-Waite card, it's got like a black and a white horse driving a chariot and a charioteer at the top. And it's kind of that energy of like, it literally is speaking about that in terms of like, you know, you need both like insight and action. You need both the feminine and the receptivity, the She of the Correct, and the masculine energy of like taking action on those ideas. So I feel like the guidance kind of coming through in terms of like the abundance that's blossoming for you is also with the solar plexus chakra here with determination, is like, and you've got these salmon fish that are like or trout or something, I'm not quite sure what they are, sorry, but they're like swimming upstream, and there's this energy of like force, maybe I'm hearing. It's almost like you've been mentally trying to determine what to do and going upstream, or feeling, maybe that's why you had felt disconnected, because you feel like you're a fish swimming against the current kind of thing. Because if you were going with the current, the fish would be pointed that way, and you would be going like with where like this She of the Correct, this goddess, this spirit energy is kind of taking you, like a swan. So like it's kind of like saying you're coming out of this energy, this sort of determining energy, and moving towards this serene swan who like receives this inspiration and guidance and then moves like serenely across the water. I'm being guided to the book now for the Animal Spirit Guidebook because I feel like there's another. It's interesting because a lot of the messages across these four cards were really, really similar. They were all kind of saying the same thing about connecting with your intuition and you'll know what to do, and it needing to be effortless. So yeah, the swan, here we go. Effortless creativity, sensitive, mystic, elegant power. And I will just say about the creativity as well that I did pick up that for poll 2, some of you are quite creative, because you got a lot of the time when those of you pick the line strider deck, it's a very beautiful, you can see all the watercolors and the artwork is just gorgeous, and it does tend to attract like people who are very artistic or creative or aesthetically minded or something along those lines. So I mean, obviously everyone has creativity and they can express it in different forms, but the point is that for many of you it might be a sort of creative venture that you're being guided to take action on, like creative inspiration. But anyway, let me read the message for the swan. So the swan represents heightened creativity. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry. And I did have, ooh, what have I done with it? Here we go. Right behind, here we go. Goddess Saraswati, here she is. That is the beautiful goddess Saraswati. So she's a really good goddess to petition or call on, or have, you could have a little altar to her or something like that. If you feel a connection with her, because she is all about artistry, creative expression. She's always shown with this instrument, and so for those of you who are like writers or songwriters or singers or musicians or artists or creatives of any sort, she is the one to call on. So really, really beautiful goddess. And also she is also connected with swans. So that's why the swan totem animal here is kind of saying this is Goddess Saraswati coming through to you, being like, listen to the muse, like listen to your intuition, listen to your inspiration. Like there's this beautiful swan, serene swan energy coming through. So I'm going to put Saraswati there as well. So the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. And I feel like that was saying with that thinking woman in reverse, it was kind of saying about like listening to that inner voice, that inner intuition, because it's something is going to be revealed to you. So when in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, you may feel agitated, snippy, or lacking vision, which this card did speak of. The thinking woman in reverse spoke of being disconnected from your purpose and your vision. And to bring into balance, it's saying solo time and writing. So for many of you, journaling could be really useful. To connect with that inner feminine, receptive, creative, intuitive self, and then knowing where to take action. It's finding that balance between the two, because you've then got fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. Now, I did look this up yesterday, and I've completely forgotten when the full moon in Aries is. I apologize, but if you look it up, I think it might be in October or something like that. So it might be that a climax in this, in terms of you taking action on something, comes into being. Like I feel like you're going to step into this Aries energy, which is all about being like taking action and being an initiator, taking the initiative, like so it's the first sign in the zodiac, so it's like sowing the seed to it's sowing that initial seed. It's like it's a fire sign, so it's connected with the fire element, so it's all about passion as well. And it's saying a fiery climax approaches, so some kind of climax in this creative endeavor that if you take action on it, if you move into a period of taking action, you will see a climax in this. So maybe some of you already sowed a seed. It could be worthwhile for some of you, actually. I'm just getting, some of you might have sowed a seed for something in the last full moon in Aries last year, 2021, and the climax for it is going to come through this year. Possibly also it could be an Aries season, so not when the full moon in Aries is, which is later in the year, in its opposite sign. I think it's October. But actually during Aries season, so March 22nd to, I think it is, March 22nd to April 21st is Aries. So you might start seeing some movement. You might start taking some action in that season. That could be a very auspicious time for you to like take action on a creative inspiration. But there's a need to kind of like let go of your thoughts, come out of your like logical brain, stop kind of going against the current of like, oh, my brain is telling me I need to do X, Y, Z, and kind of surrender to the muse, if you like, surrender to Saraswati and the swan, and see where that muse takes you, and then take action on that inspiration that you get through. It's like, you know, be still, have some solo time, and have the reflection. That's the kind of yin energy. So that's the kind of being in the womb space, in the she of the correct womb space, in the darkness, letting something conceive and grow. It's very much that she of the crook is very much that like dark womb time where a seed has been planted, like that, and it's just created that perfect vessel, that perfect like a creative, like a creative womb. It's like you need to go into a creative womb space, I'm hearing Paul too. And then once you've kind of got that vision, or you know, whether it's for a song or an art piece of art or a new project or a new business idea or a book, maybe some of you are writers. You know, we had this thinking woman. She's got a load of books here. She's reading a book. We heard with the Swan and Saraswati, she looks after, you know, writers and language. So some of you might be writers. So it's like receiving that inspiration, and then when the timing is right, taking action on it and really going for it with that full moon in Aries. Aries are the initiators. They have that push energy, that quite taking action energy, really. So these two cards kind of go together really perfectly. So I feel like that's all your guidance messages. I'm going to have a wee look at the tarot now and get some more insight into specifically what might be coming through for your abundance. But yeah, there may also be, in terms of, for those of you, I picked up on a couple of strands. I feel like some of you are great at pushing yourself to take action, and you're not spending enough time. You need to balance your yin energy and spend more time receiving to get clarity on your vision and the sort of not the correct inspiration, but like the most inspired idea, or not sort of trying to push ahead with something and take action too fast on something that hasn't allowed itself to fully come to its like full growth yet. Almost like in the same way that when I'm getting the impression of when someone conceives a baby, and you know how usually I think you're not really meant to publicly announce that you're pregnant before the 3-month mark, I think, because you know so many things can potentially go wrong. So it takes like quite a long time for the fetus to kind of like hold, if you like, and then like carry the pregnancy all the way through to birth. And it's almost like there's this energy of, for some of you, maybe you're speaking about the idea or trying to push forward on the idea before it's fully conceived and fully grown. And for others of you, you're staying in the womb space too long, and you're not taking action, and you're too much this black horse, and you're kind of stuck in your head, or you're stuck in the ideas phase, and you're not moving forward. You're not letting the swan kind of transport you to where you need to be. You're not you need to be more in this fiery Aries energy and really take action. And maybe for those of you who fall into that sphere, and you'll know who you are, which band you fall into, but if you feel like, yeah, actually I've been sitting on this idea for like 2 years, it has fully formulated in my head, I see the whole thing, I kind of do know what it is, but I just haven't given it the solo time with the swan to take action on it. There may be a need to balance your solar plexus chakra, because the card number 16, determination, is linked with your solar plexus. So needing to like really balance any energy, any fears around like shining your light in public or putting yourself out there before you take action on this. If it is a creative project, especially if it is something like writing or putting something quite personal, an artwork or something like that out into the world, that can definitely feel quite vulnerable. So yeah, let's look at the line strider and get some I think I have it I have actually pre-shuffled these, so let's just go straight into some cards and see what's coming through. Whoa, that one came out straight away. What abundance is coming out? Woohoo! Four of Swords and Four of Pentacles. So we've got 2 4s. So yeah, this is definitely backing up this She of the Cruach and the Swan in terms of resting and receiving and going within. You can see this line here is he's not doing his usual roaring or being out in the sun, being a kind of big bright shiny Leo. He's kind of looks like he might have been wounded, or just sad or really tired or a bit burned out, and he's kind of just resting his head for a moment on his paws. We've got a snake on his head as well, I'm just noticing, which could be a sign of like Kundalini energy. So maybe for some of you, you have been a bit burnt out and your life force energy is like needing to be rejuvenated before you take action. So there's a need to kind of rest and go within and receive and let that wisdom and that healing and that divine inspiration, whatever it is, come to you. And then when you do that, you're going to end up in this Four of Pentacles situation, which is pretty bougie. This woman's got all this jewels and beautiful clothes, and she's plush, you know, she's doing good. She's you know, so for those of you that are looking for financial abundance of some sort, monetary or prosperity or something like that, I feel like you are going to come into that. You're going to be successful, or receive gifts, or be very it's almost like, because she's got there's a town in the background, and she's sort of very esteemed as well, is what I'm hearing. So this might not just be in terms of pentacles, in terms of money, security, stability, finances, things like that, but actually in terms of esteem and being kind of held above, you know, or lauded for your work, if you like, esteemed for your work that you've taken action on. Let's see if we can get a bit more of a message. What's going on for the abundance? What blossoming abundance is coming in for pile 2? What abundance is coming in for pile 2? 8 of Swords. Yeah, there's a need to again go within. It's kind of consistent messages. The tarot's been consistent with the oracle cards. Connect with your intuition. You can see this woman is blindfolded, so she's not looking to the outside for answers, but there's a lot of, with all this, they're like almost like worms, kind of all knotted together. And the color blue, which is connected with the throat chakra. So it's like she doesn't know quite which direction to go in, but she needs to really just go within and realize that thought, I want to say clusterfuck, but I probably should swear, sorry. But that basically, that's the energy I'm getting, as sort of a clusterfuck of issues, or of like limiting beliefs or something like that. You know, that's very much the energy of the thinking woman in reverse, is like, you know, not to overthink and to reconnect with your own intuition and reconnect with your own vision. So that's kind of backing that up, really. You know, rest, connect with your inner sense of inner treasure, inner wealth, connect with your own intuition, so that you can really, Eight of Swords also speaks of like someone who's kind of putting up, it's like in another deck, it's got swords around a woman, and she's like lying on the ground, but if she stood up, she would see that the swords aren't actually blocking her. She could walk through them. And it's almost like it's saying like this tangle or cluster of knotted beliefs is just your mind telling you can't do something, or it's just some kind of limiting belief. But you can definitely do it if you saw your own. It's like with the swan, it's like I'm getting this storyline now about, like, for some of you, you might be seeing yourself as like the ugly duckling, if you like. So I don't know, you might know the Hans Christian Andersen story of the ugly duckling. And it's like, so for your whole life, you've kind of thought of yourself as this ugly duckling and not worthy of, you know, these lovely things like pentacles, you know, success, money, wealth, whatever it might be. But you're a swan. You're a swan, you're a swan, you're a swan, pile 2, you're a swan. It might be useful if you don't know that story to look it up online or watch it. There's a great film with oh, I can't remember his name. It's from like the 60s with Danny, someone. I can't remember his surname, sorry, but it's a fantastic film. And it illustrates the story really well. And yeah, it's just that whole thing of like you're looking at yourself in a mirror and seeing a little duckling who's not capable of achieving all these great things, all these dreams that you want to achieve, these creative dreams, because you're very creatively inspired, Paltu. But you can see with this swan, it's got like all this, there's all this blue and green and yellow. So yellow is solar plexus, which is shining your light. Blue is throat chakra, which is expressing yourself. And green is heart chakra, which is like expressing your heartfelt desires kind of thing. And that those colors are just radiating out from this swan. So it's just a case of like resting, going within and believing you're worthy of having this, of achieving this creative dream, of achieving your creative goals, of taking action on behalf of your muse, on behalf of your intuition, on behalf of the ideas that you get through. If you balance your like solar plexus and tune into when the right timing is and take action on it, you could really go really far. Let me just see if there's any other messages from the line strider. Woo, Two of Swords. Again, my goodness, going within. You've got the crescent moon, you've got a bird that's like got a helmet with the eye bit down, and then two swords, which is like trying to decide. Some of you might be at a bit of a crossroads, like trying to decide which path to go, which idea to take action on maybe. And there's just this need right from the beginning, the whole thread, the whole way through, with the thinking woman in reverse and she of the Kuruk and the swan. And the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords is to go within and connect with your intuition and connect with your inner vision again. And that will really tell you that receptive, feminine, that she of the Kuruk energy, that goddess energy. You can call on Goddess Saraswati to help you connect with your like swan self and be guided to where you need to go. Because at the moment I feel like you're sort of stuck in your mind trying to be like, well, if I go that way, will that go here? And if I go that way, will that go here? And it's like a mind block, like a mind cluster kind of thing. And you can't quite get out of it. But possibly for those of you who are kind of stuck in an idea stage of something, it might be that actually the message is that you need to start taking action on the first bit of inspiration or intuition you get, so that you can then get more data, so that you know where to go next. It's like you're not going to be able to solve this problem with the mind, with thinking. That's why this is in reverse. It's like you've got to let that go. You've got to surrender. Four of Swords, surrender. You've got to rest, retreat, surrender, stop sort of fighting it with your mind and trying to go against the grain. Because it's like you can try and do that if you want, but like Spirit is kind of saying like it would be so much easier if you surrendered and went within and stopped trying to solve this as the problem of your mind and went, like swans. Swans are beautiful, serene creatures, but they're still like, they look like when they're sailing across the water, they look like it's just effortless, and it did speak of effortless creativity, which I feel like is available to you. However, like that doesn't mean don't take any action at all and just expect to receive intuition 24/7 kind of thing. Like swans are still paddling like buggery underneath. Like if you look at a swan on the top of the water, sure, it looks totally effortless and like it's just going along like this, kind of like ballet dancers, like you watch a ballet and the dancers are just like jumping around and throwing each other around like totally effortlessly, right? But like the training that goes into doing that, the action that goes into doing that, white horse, the for the swan, the paddling that he's doing underneath the surface with his feet, if you actually watch that, there's still action being taken, but they just make it look effortless because they've got to a point of doing it so often, I guess, which Spirit is kind of saying you're going to get to that stage once you realize you are a swan and not like an ugly duckling. And when I say ugly duckling, by the way, I don't mean in terms of your physical looks at all. I'm talking about in terms of how you're viewing yourself and your worth Four of Pentacles, and what you're like deserving of, or what you of taking action on your dreams and your goals and your creative ideas. Because I just feel like for some of you, pile 2, you're just sitting on like a treasure chest of, yeah, you're sitting on a like a treasure chest of creative ideas, and they're kind of in your womb space, but like you haven't fully fertilized them through to full capacity, maybe. And that could be for various reasons. For some of you, it's that you haven't thought yourself worthy of that. For some of you, you see yourself as this sort of small, ugly duckling type. Maybe also the story of the ugly duckling speaks of like, you know, the baby swan is hanging around ducks, and the ducks are like, you're an ugly duck. And then eventually it grows up and it goes to hang out with swans and realizes, oh, I wasn't a duck, I was a swan. So for some of you, there might be an energy of needing to be surround yourself environmentally with other swans, because you're kind of in the wrong environment to evolve this talent that you have. So maybe that's part of the climax and part of the action that you need to take. And part of this Two of Swords decision is like, am I going to keep just overthinking this and trying to figure it out with my brain, and not really getting the worth and the esteem and recognition I deserve? Or am I going to take myself out of that duckling environment and move myself towards, you know, take some action, move myself towards this swan environment, be around other swans, be supported for what I do? And it could just be that you need to start taking some small steps on, like, with the guidance that you're given when you go within. Four of Swords, Eight of Swords. When you start going within, it's like, what, just take the first next step and then get some data and then be like, okay, that worked, or that didn't work, or like, now I'm going to try this, and just keep trying and keep kind of showing up with the muse and dancing with the muse and seeing what grows as a result. Yeah, I feel like that's all the messages for you, pile 2. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't feel like I can tell you, or the tarot cards can kind of tell you anything else until you kind of you know, go take some action, balance your solar plexus chakra, connect with your intuition, connect with your feminine self, your womb self, your creative side. So sacral chakra might be relevant for some of you, because that's where creative ideas get stemmed from. But there is a lot of blue in this reading, actually. So I feel like it's almost like you probably don't need the creative stimulation. In a sense, you already have those ideas. It's just kind of giving them the space to fully grow. And so actually it's more of a solar plexus and a throat chakra, because there's just so much blue. And that's all related to the throat chakra and self-expression. I just get this very strong creative vibe. And now that doesn't have to be like you're an artist, but you know, it might be doing something creatively at work or doing your job in a more creative way. But yeah, there's definitely a need to go within and rest and like find that intuition, find that yin energy first, and then take action on that. So, whew. I hope that resonated, pile 2. I'm going to leave it there. I think that's all your messages for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your likes, for your subscribes, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure reading for you today. All the best on this journey. Now, this was a general reading, so just take what resonates and leave the rest. If you would really like a bespoke reading specific to your situation and what abundance is coming in for you personally, I can absolutely take a look at that. I do have a few slots left, I believe, for the towards the end of this month for personal tarot readings, goddess guidance readings. So please take a look at my website. The details are below. And otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you chose the gold bornite crystal and the goddess inspiration tarot for the Queen of Pentacles, this will be your reading. So I've already pre-pulled your oracle card, so I'm going to start with the guidance that has come through for those. We're going to be taking a look at the energy that you've been in and some healing messages to help unblock this blossoming abundance and shift into it, and then the energy that you're moving into in regards to your abundance. And then at the end, we'll be looking at some messages from the tarot to get a bit more of a specific insight into what abundance might specifically be coming in for you. So to begin with, we got the third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, but in reverse as the energy you're moving out of. We got from the Fairy Oracle deck by Brian Frad, we got the Pook card. Very cute. Card number 60. We got the Lizard card from the Animal Oracle. We got from the Chakra Oracle deck Inner Strength, card number 14, which is related to the solar plexus chakra. Oops. From Moonology, we got Luck is on your side, New Moon in Sagittarius. Oops. And we got Financial Constraints, card number 13 in reverse as the energy you're moving into. So never fear, that is a very good sign that it's come out in reverse. So for those of you who have been going through a period of restraints lately, you are coming into an auspicious, lucky, unrestricted time in terms of money, finances, that type of thing, if that's the kind of abundance that you are looking for. So let's have a look at the energy you've been moving out of. So I'm just going to read so you know that if this is the reading for you, because if you feel like this is the energy you've been in, then this will resonate. So when this card is reversed, it indicates a low ebb in your energy and possibly a lack of purpose. You may have been feeling very fragmented lately, and it's interesting, we got with this Inner Strength card, it's a very like fragmented person. So that might have been your energy in the past. Unable to rein in your scattered focus. If this is the case, it's time to become more centered and single-minded. You can choose to bring a greater sense of enthusiasm to your everyday life. Call for the assistance of Chamuel to help you harness your power and spin this dynamic center of life force expression. Gather up and direct your life force energy and bring an attitude of enthusiasm to both your goal and your daily life. And the affirmation for those of you who feel like this resonates and you do feel a bit stuck or fragmented or scattered or lacking enthusiasm or energy, you can use this affirmation, and it is: my third chakra. I'll just hold it up so you can pause it if you want to write it down. My third chakra is open to its perfect healthy state. I radiate a bright and vibrant life force energy. I feel excitement for all that I do. So it's kind of amazing how, I mean, I love when this happens. You get these confirmation of messages, because I just feel like these two cards are kind of saying the same thing, really, because we've got Inner Strength and also linked with the solar plexus, and there's this person who looks quite fragmented, and there's this light that's trying to burst out of him. So the solar plexus is, for those of you who don't know, it sits in your gut area, just above your sacral chakra is like your groin and your sexual organs, and your solar plexus is in your core, around your gut, and governs like your stomach and your digestive organs, and it's related to the element of fire. It's connected with the sun, with the masculine principle, with yang energy, with how you shine your light, how you put yourself out there in the world. So for those of you who have been wanting to, I feel like for this pile, there's an energy of some of you might have been wanting to like start a business or start some kind of project, shine your light in some way, put yourself out there, find enthusiasm and energy for a project or work or something like that, but you've been feeling a bit blocked. It might be really useful for you to do some solar plexus healing, and balancing, because we've got Inner Strength here as well. So it's like there's a necessity to kind of break out of like these old fragmented kind of, almost like this person's caked in like old mud or like dust kind of thing, like just. But there's this light, this absolutely bright light that's within you, that really wants to come out. It's just and it's interesting. I keep feeling distracted by the candle. The fire in the candle is going crazy. It's really like moving around a lot. And it's like there's this fire, this light, this passion, this energy, this life force that wants to shine its light on the world and express itself and just get out there and put itself out there in some way, but it's being covered up or blocked or something by something. And I feel like this Pook energy card as well, it's got a sort of similar energy in that you can see they've both got, there's this ball of solar plexus here, and then this light, kind of like a Y-shaped light kind of coming out here. And the Pook speaks of like a shape-shifting energy, which also is kind of the energy I'm getting from the lizard as well. The way lizards can, or geckos and things can kind of, shapeshift. They're like chameleons. They can blend in with their environment. And it's funny how in this case you've got this lizard with its certain colors, and then there's like a lizard skin background as well. And it's almost like without the eye, it could easily just blend in with the background kind of thing. And that's what I feel like you've been doing, pile 3. I feel like you've been in an energy, and some of you might have been, I know I've had a few people already raise this as comments on my channel, and because this is something I've been through as well, you tend to attract people to your readings who might have been through some of the things, because there's sort of an energetic resonance, if you like. I feel like for some of you, pile 3, you may have been through some kind of narcissistic abuse, because now don't feel like, you'll know if you have, like, don't sort of jump to that conclusion that must be why you're not, having energy or not able to like shine your solar plexus light. This will be specific to some of you if you already know that that's what you've been on, or if you can't find a reason for why your solar plexus energy is kind of stuck and you're kind of caked in this energy. Because this sort of reminds me of with when you've suffered from some kind of narcissistic abuse, or you've not been able, one of the biggest wounds is to your solar plexus, because you're not able to shine your own light. You're not allowed to be who you really are. You can't be your authentic self. You have to be the person that the narcissist wants you to be. So if you've been brought up in an environment where you needed to get love or validation or something, you needed to perform or do something that the parent wanted you to do, or the guardian figure or something like that wanted you to do, then you were taught to sort of shut down your own inner light and not be who you really were. Especially for those of you who are quite like spiritual or highly intuitive, empaths, sensitive souls, things like that. You would have had to have, like the Pook, shape shifted. You would have had to have like shut down your own light, shut down who you really were, covered that part up, because that part wasn't allowed to exist. You could never be it's almost like you weren't allowed to have any kind of it's not arrogance, it's just like, so having a strong solar plexus is like having that energy of like, yeah, like I deserve to shine my light, I deserve to be seen, I deserve to be heard, I deserve to be recognized, I deserve success, I deserve to put myself out in the world and show people who I really am, show people my authentic self. With any kind of those types of dynamics, those kind of narcissistic type dynamics that you might have grown up with, or come out of a relationship with someone who you had that dynamic with them, you had to kind of like slowly but surely like shut down that light and kind of shape shift yourself in order to fit in, or in order to receive love. I'm hearing like sort of people pleasers, things like that. You had to kind of like blend into the background, like don't stick out, because like you weren't allowed to be seen, you weren't allowed to be heard, you weren't allowed to shine a big bright shiny you light, because that would be taking up the space of the narcissist person, right? Or and this is not, I'm not saying this in, I don't want you to get into a energy of like, oh, like parent bashing or parent blaming, or being, because like hurt people, that pattern is passed down through generations. As part of this ascension process, we're all going through healing these old patterns. There's that it's complex. Often someone who ends up becoming a narcissist themselves has either seen that pattern modeled to them, or they were completely neglected in childhood themselves. So we want to kind of take this with a little bit of a, okay, well, that's shitty that happened to me, and it shouldn't have happened, and I shouldn't have had to have like shapeshifted and given up who I really was and blocked my solar plexus and like hid my light and caked myself in this kind of dirty mud just to look like this small little kind of like don't look at me, like, I'm hearing like for some of you, if you have gone through that kind of thing, you might have been in a lot of like support roles for other people, like often people who are sort of in that shape-shifting chameleon energy, where you've been in a kind of narcissistic dynamic. You end up like doing things to support others. So say you want to be the star in some way, and whatever that is, whether it's a creative thing, whether it's a spiritual role of some sort, like being a teacher, or sharing a gift of some sort, but you end up, instead of doing that thing, you end up being like a shadow artist. For those of you who know Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, that explains that whole process of people who've had their authentic voice or self blocked from some kind of trauma or something in childhood, and then they can't kind of shine their light. They don't feel like they're allowed to shine their light in some way, and it's from like an old belief that they're kind of stuck in. They need to kind of fit in with their family. They can't sort of get bigger than that. They can't sort of be bigger than their community in any sense. There's just this sort of like need to fit in. But I feel like for you, pile 3, because that came out in reverse, it's like there's some healing to be done there, but you're moving out of this and you're finding your worth. With maybe you've also had a lot of financial constraints in the past, because that coming out in reverse as an energy you're moving towards. Perhaps you haven't been able to really demand your worth in terms of jobs or careers, or go after what you really want, or shine your light. It's interesting you picked the bornite crystal, because this can be a crystal that it's often a sort of covered in kind of gray. There's little flecks of gold and it's covered in gray, but sometimes when it tarnishes, you can kind of see it goes a bit purpley almost, which is like the crown chakra or the third eye chakra. So it's that I'm getting is like, it's almost like the energy of you had to go through what you had to go through in order to like awaken your spiritual abilities, or your spiritual gifts, or your intuitive gifts, or your third eye, or something like that, and then you can kind of break out of this. It's funny how the colors of this crystal are kind of similar to the gray and gold of this inner strength solar plexus card. And it's like, if you have, bless you, I'm so sorry if you have just come out of a connection like this. It is really tough, but please know I have been through that, and several years ago, and I got out of it, and I found the inner strength to break out of it and find myself and connect with my intuition and heal my solar plexus and step into my authentic truth and put, re-pivot my life around to what I wanted to do, and finally give myself the permission to do what I wanted to do, and break out of all the layers that were caked on me of what, and it's not just parents, for those of you who don't resonate with the narcissistic dynamic thing, this is just, just stuff, programming we inherit from childhood or teenage years or whatever from society about like, you can't do that because you're, say, LGBTQ, or you can't do that because you're a woman, or you can't do that because you're not smart enough, or you can't do that because of whatever, it's just whatever kind of caking, whatever's made you think like, oh, I've got to fit in with the box, I've got to shapeshift, I've got to do what I've got to blend in with everyone else. I've got to blend in with society. I can't break out and be this bright shining light of who I really want to be. I've got to sort of be gray and like just be in a suit. For some of you, this could look like, maybe you're just really drained in energy because you're working in a job that just isn't fulfilling you. Maybe you're in some kind of, like an office job, or something that doesn't give you a lot of energy, and you're just a bit burnt out, or like it's just, I'm sort of seeing this gray. It's like you're wearing like gray clothes, gray suits or something like that. So you're in an industry that's just not full of a lot of like color or joy. And there's this need to like break out of this all this like mud and like wash it all off and break it off. And also with the lizard as well, the other energy I got through from the lizard is like lizards shed their skin, and it's kind of like there's this energy, especially if you have gone through that narcissistic stuff, which I'm so sorry if you have, because I know how hellish that is and how hard it is to find the inner strength to get out of it. But solar plexus healing is honestly one of the best things and one of the best areas to focus on. It's the main area that gets wounded and the main area that gets blocked, but it's part of your lesson in when you as a soul incarnated on earth to have gone through that sort of the Pook can speak of illusions and not seeing what's real. So it's almost like you had to have this third chakra in reverse. It's like you couldn't see your light. And that was part of your awakening, was to have a painful situation where you were denied being able to shine your light so that you could find the inner strength within to break out of these constraints. And then maybe you'll go on and show other people how you did that. Maybe you'll whatever you had to use to balance your solar plexus and find that inner strength and shed off that old lizard skin. It's kind of like, the lizard being here is like this totem animal, is like saying you luck, and also luck is on your side. Like, you can do this, like you've got the inner strength, you've got this, you can shed the skin, that energy is available to you to just shed that. Like, you can let go of those old ways of being, you can let go of your old, this is a costume that you've like subconsciously chosen to put on and wear. Like, oh, I'm just small, like don't look at me, like I just like help out in the background, like I'm the support worker, or I'm the I just maybe you really want, say for example, you really want to be a writer, but you work with doing something, some sort of like a shadow work where you're shadowing writers, so you're not actually writing yourself, you really want to write your own stuff and you've got all these wonderful ideas, but you're doing, say, I don't know, like I can't think of an example, maybe proofreading, or you're writing the blurbs for other people's books. And like, it's not to knock any of that. And also remember, we all have to go through our journey, and sometimes the journey to becoming like a writer is to work on other people's stuff, and you learn a lot through all of that. But it's just being conscious of like, like, where am I shape shifting? Where am I giving up my own desires because I'm trying to fit in with what I was told to believe I'm worth, and told to pursue, and told to sort of fit in and don't stick out, and like like don't sort of shine your light, like you'll get cut down, like it's not safe, kind of thing, and those are not your beliefs, and that's not your truth. So it's like just being conscious of like, finding that inner strength within and balancing your solar plexus. So there's various ways you can do that. Meditative Minds, I think it is, and there's many channels on YouTube that do chakra healing music, so you can look those up. Chakra healing meditations, wearing the color yellow, eating yellow foods can even help, like just being around the like if you look at the vibration of the color yellow, it's so sunny, it's so bright, even like look at this card, like the card that you've chosen, if you were drawn to this picture, it's so bright and golden, and like she's got this great big golden pentacle coin in her center at her soul. It's funny, that coin looks very similar to the golden radiant ball of light at the third chakra for Archangel Chamuel, but this is like the kind of feminine version of it with the queen. And it's like really kind of saying like, you are a queen, like to find your Queen of Pentacles, to get your money, security, stability, job, the career you want, the to be able to shine your light in the way that you want. You've got to see yourself as this queen. You've got to find that sovereignty. You've got to find that inner treasure, that inner light, and really balance your, like I'm just getting it over and over again, like balance your solar plexus, like find that inner strength within, especially if you have been through some kind of narcissistic abuse recently, because that would have really just, a lot of those types of dynamics, they tend to be very undermining. They tend to, question your abilities to do things a lot. That there might be like some often people in those connections, the narcissist will specifically like put you down, undermine you, undermine your abilities, undermine your worth, undermine what you think you can do, sort of verbally attack you, verbally abuse you, all that kind of stuff. So you can see this person as like, dying to just shine their light, and they've got all this inner strength within them, but there's just all this stuff that's been caked onto them. That is not yours, pile 3. That stuff was theirs. That's the narcissist. So there's a need to kind of disconnect. If it was that type of dynamic, if it wasn't, if it was just, you're just feeling with that third chakra being in reverse, and it spoke of the lack of energy and lethargy and lack of connection with goals, then there's still a need just to find that inner light and inner reservoir of strength and enthusiasm again, and not sort of go with, maybe you've been shape shifting in terms of going along with someone else's plan, or like going along with what society wants you to do. And it's kind of saying, shed that skin now, with the lizard being here. Like, it's time to let go of that, shed that skin, like, come, like, the process of I guess enlightenment or spiritual ascension, or becoming into your authentic self is not so much going off on a big journey to try and find your authentic self, but just stripping away the layers of things that aren't you. So this caked on stuff, this old skin, and just stripping it back, like the layers of an onion, peeling the layers of an onion back and back and back until you get to your core self. And we've also got, with the Moonology card, we've got luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. So this could be when the new moon in Sagittarius, which is Sagittarius season, is 22nd of November, I think, to 22nd of October. Is that right? Is that October to November? Sorry, I've gone blank. But if you look up when the new moon in Sagittarius is this year, that could be a very auspicious time for you in terms of when things might turn around, in terms of any financial constraints you've had to have. You might get a bit of a flow, like things might start changing direction, some luck might come in, some kind of windfall might come in. I feel like also with the arrow being here and that Sagittarian energy, it's like finally, from having to kind of hide your light and shapeshift and kind of fit in with other people and be behind the scenes maybe, or like kind of be underneath all this mud. It's like you're finally kind of setting your own course, maybe in Sagittarius season, or just that energy is going to finally come through for you, and you're going to like be like setting like that bow and arrow energy of like that's where I want to go, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to shine my light in the world, this is the career I want to go after, this is how I want to earn my money, this is how I want to be seen, this is the legacy I want to leave. All those questions related to kind of like career and prosperity and abundance and putting yourself out in the world, you're going to be really like intentional and like a Sagittarian, very very adventurous, and like making like wanting to go forward after your dreams. It's like that you're coming out of this energy of being lethargic and blocked and disconnected from your purpose, and you're really like, with this bow and arrow, it's like you're just like, once you've let go of all this old skin kind of thing and broken through and found that inner strength, you're like, boom, this is where I'm going, I know where I'm going, and I'm going to do it, and that's going to lead to financial windfall coming through. So card number 13, let me just see if there might be a good affirmation for you here. So this card reversed portends an increase in the money about to come your way. The previous constrictions have broken open, and there's a greater flow of money and other things, so other abundance. As more funds come in, you'll find that you have the freedom to take more risks. So freedom, Sagittarius, big Sagittarius theme. And spend without the previous extreme precautions. The river of abundance is starting to flow your way, but don't be too cavalier. Always bring your consciousness to this in every aspect of your life. And the affirmation is, I can move through any cycle with dignity and awareness. I'm open to receiving increasing wealth. Money moves to and through my life, bringing benefits to all. So yeah, I hope that resonates for some of you. If you have been stuck, if you have been feeling a bit disconnected from your purpose, if you have been struggling financially, I'm here, I'm with you, I hear you, I know that pain, I know that struggle. But yeah, solar plexus healing will definitely help with all of that. Let's have a look at. Okay, I'm just going to get the tarot and just see. I feel like it's kind of most of your messages, but I'm just kind of curious to get a couple more from the tarot deck. Sorry, I've just realized also during your reading, the sun has gone behind a cloud and it is a little bit light. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the light on. Hopefully that's a little bit lighter. It was very sunny this morning. Yeah, it's like that's probably no accident that happened during your reading. I feel like there's a need to like find your inner light and switch. I'm hearing, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the French, it's not a French film, but it's set in France, called French Kiss, from like, oh goodness, it came out in like 1995 or something like that. I remember watching it when I was like in my early teens, and I loved it. It made me totally fall in love with France. It's set in like the most beautiful parts of France. It's got Kevin Kline and Kate, I can't remember her name. Anyway, Kate is the name of the character. Anyway, in where was I going with this? I've just lost my train of thought. Why was I bringing up French Kiss? Oh yes, that's right. Because she meets this lovely guy, played by Kevin Kline, and towards the end, she's trying to get back her fiance who had dumped her, and he says something about like her. It's like someone switched on a big bright shiny Kate light. Why wasn't it me? And it's because it was a Kevin Kline character, of course. And I just felt like when I just was reminded of that film, I saw a scene from it when I was switching on that light, and I feel like that's kind of what you need to do. Part 3 is like maybe watch that film. There might be some messages for you in it, but and I'm not saying like wait for a relationship to come along and do that for you if you're not in one now. I feel like that work has to be done within first. Yeah, find something you're passionate about. Find a way to switch on your own big bright shiny you light, and that's kind of that's really the guidance for this, for part 3. So what? Oh wow. Well, speaking of love, I mean, I was just asking what abundance is coming in for pile number 3, and we got love, Venus. So maybe this is for some of you, when we were speaking about different forms of abundance coming in, this might be love, or it might be that a love connection that comes in for you, possibly a Sagittarius person or in Sagittarius season. Or if that's the abundance you're wanting, if you're thinking, oh, I'm not actually worried about finances, I just really want an abundance of love in my life. Venus is goddess of romantic love, so it could be more related to romantic love. There's like Venice in the background and roses on the river and stuff. So, maybe you meet traveling, maybe the person's Italian. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there, or they're French or something. Or they love France or Italy or Venice, or something like that, because I'm getting that kind of energy from this card. But I feel like actually really what Venus is kind of saying is love. It's important to love yourself, and the solar plexus chakra is not about saying love yourself to the point of arrogance, of being like, I'm so much better than everyone else, like, oh my god, like I'm the best ever. It's not saying that. It's and for those of you who did resonate with the strand of you who might have gone through something narcissistic, you might be very reluctant to kind of speak your self-worth or speak yourself up in any way, or shine your light or put yourself out there, because you don't want to be seen as narcissistic. You're almost like the complete opposite extreme. And so by loving yourself, it's like saying, like, no, it's not being arrogant, it's just being self-honoring and self-loving, and self-loving in a like a I hope you know what I mean. Like, not in an arrogant way, not in a like I'm so much better than everyone else, but just I'm as deserving as everyone else. I'm as worthy as everyone else. I can shine my light as much as everyone else. You know, that's what it's saying. And for some of you, or for some of you, this might be a romantic connection coming in. Maybe the reason I got that scene from French Kiss is that someone, luck is on your side, someone's going to come in and they are going to be a person who switches on your big, bright, shiny you light. You'll have to leave me a comment because I would love to hear if that is what the abundance is that's coming in. That's really cool. And then we got Princess of Staves, Princess of Wands. So you're coming into this energy of like, you know, it's quite a tentative energy, but she's planting that seed in the ground. Like, you're finding your passion again. You're coming out of that third chakra in reversal, finding that energy again, that inner passion, and planting something in the ground, planting a seed in the ground and waiting to see it grow. And saying like, yeah, actually, I am worthy of this. I do want things. I do want this thing. And I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to see how this passion goes. So yeah, really beautiful energy. But this ability to do this is a result of like the self-love that you're coming into. You're going to be able to find an abundance in self-love, and then love from others, connection from others. Also, this is quite a materially opulent card. So I do feel like, for those of you who want material, like maybe you've got financial constraints or material constraints at the moment, or travel constraints or something, whatever it is that you're constrained in, there's going to be an opulence that you're going to be coming into in the future. Any other messages of abundance that are coming in for pile 3? Whoa, that one flew out. And Prince of Pentacles, woohoo! Yeah, this could be a person coming in, you know, for those of you who are wanting that. This could be someone else coming in, a young man, or someone in their masculine energy, coming in with some kind of offer, or an offer of a job or something, because Prince of Pentacles can speak of like an offer of money or security or stability in some sense. So they could offer you something, you know, like could even be a business partnership or an investor in a business or something like that, or just some kind of financial, a lifting to your financial constraints, so that you can kind of move forward with this project, this passion. So it could be even things like, you know, funding for a creative project, or, you know, being like an angel investor or something for your business or something like that. Or it could be a boyfriend or a partner, or a romantic interest in someone in their masculine energy who is perhaps quite wealthy, or just very financially stable, and you're able to, they're very generous, and you know, they come forward, and you're able to, you know, you sharing resources, and so your financial constraints come to a bit of an end, because you're able to, you know, it could even just be, it's not like necessarily they're giving you money or anything, but maybe you move in together, and so therefore your costs are suddenly halved, and so suddenly you don't have to be so worried about finances anymore or something, you know, it could be that. But yeah, really beautiful energy. I'm just going to get one more card for pile 3 on the abundance coming in, one more card for pile 3. Did that one sort of jump? I'm not going to take that one, so I don't feel like. Wow, Prince of Wands. So we've got mirroring energy here. We've got like a court couple, if you like, of the same suit. So Princess and Prince of Staves, which is Princess and Prince of Wands. They're kind of coming towards each other. They've both planted something and waiting to see it grow. The Prince is obviously in the masculine energy. The Princess is in the feminine energy. But you've also got Prince of Pentacles. So this could speak of either you balancing your own feminine, masculine energy in terms of like taking a creative idea, letting it see, like rooting it, and then letting it grow, watering it, you know, like encouraging it, moving forward with it. This could be a person. So you could have, for some of you, this could look like options coming in for you. If it's love you're looking for in the abundance realm, if it's more of a you're wanting an abundance of love or connection, as opposed to you're not so worried about finances. This could be options of people. You could have one person who's quite passionate, quite vibrant, quite young, quite dynamic, that's coming in, which could be quite good if you've been going through this like sort of more lethargic period. Maybe you're needing that bit of spice if you like. And then you've also got a Prince of Pentacles who's a little bit more slower moving, but I feel like this is kind of more your energy that you're coming into. It's like you're finding your inner masculine so that you can kind of take care of yourself. It's like Princess of Wands has got the idea and the inspiration, and she's kind of planted that seed. But then the Prince of Pentacles and the Prince of Wands is like coming into, you're finding that inner strength, that inner independence, creating that inner stability for yourself, finding ways to make money off of this idea or this project. And you've got this like matching in your inner masculine and your inner feminine energy. It's like what I'm getting now is with the Prince of Wands, it's like that solar plexus energy of like, you take the inspiration from the Princess of Wands, which is the feminine energy, and then you break through, you set that course and you put it out in the world with the Prince of Wands. It's like you then take action on it, you create movement with it, and that in return creates money for you and independence, and your financial constraints are by the by. Okay, my lovelies, I feel like that was quite an intense message. I hope that resonated for some of you. Please leave me a message below if it did. I'd really love to hear. I love getting your comments. It's been an absolute pleasure reading for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your likes, for your subscribes. Now, this was a general reading, so obviously just take what resonates and leave the rest. If you would like a personal reading specific to you, I do offer those at this time, and I have a few slots left at the end of January. So if you are interested in booking a bespoke reading specific to the abundance or anything else that you want to see what is coming in for you this year, then please check out my website below, and you can book direct through my link tree, which the link is for that is below. Otherwise, if I'm leaving you here, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye bye. Hi there, pile number 4. If you chose the green jasper crystal and this Queen of Coins from the movie Tarot, then this will be your reading. Okay, so I've already pre-pulled your oracle cards, so we're going to take a look at the energies that you're coming out of and some of the healing messages and guidance that's coming through for you at this time to help tap into that abundance, and then what abundance energies and blessings are coming in for you. So the energies that you're coming out of, we got the attachment card in reverse and the hostilities card in reverse. So I'm going to put those over here. We got the journeyman card from the fairy deck. Fairy Oracle by Brian Fradd. I'm just going to move this back actually so we can fit everything in. Okay, so the Journeyman, we got the Snake card from the Animal Oracle deck. We got the Truth card from the Chakra Oracle deck. And we got the A New Romantic Cycle Begins, New Moon and Libra from the Moonology deck. We got Angel of Balance, card number 48 from the Energy Oracle deck. Just going to move Hathor back. There we go. And also Caring Connection. So you are the only pile 4 that got two two energy oracle cards for what you're moving out of and what's coming in. All the other decks only got one, so a lot of abundance showing up here in this reading, a lot of blessings, but also a lot of hardship you're moving away from, because we had both attachment and hostilities, which is like quite a defensive, aggressive energy. So some of you might have had a bit of a battle going on. I feel like perhaps it might have been in some kind of possibly a personal relationship or romantic relationship or something like that, but it doesn't have to be. It could have been in a workplace, or some kind of, you're letting go of some kind of attachment to either an old way of being, or an old job or something like that, or a limiting belief or something along those lines. Because I'm going to read the message from the book actually about attachment in reverse. So where are we? Okay, so this card reversed is, I'm just going to hold it up so you can have a look. This card reversed is a wonderful indicator that an old negative pattern, relationship, or desperate attitude is being released. So take that as it will for whatever it is that you're wanting blossoming abundance in. Part 4. So if it's related to relationships or love, if it's related to connection and social times, if it's related to money, if it's related to success and recognition, just take that as some kind of negative pattern or desperate attitude is being released in regard to that. So as you continue to let go, you will be able to establish new ways of doing things and relating to others. The universe wants to congratulate you on your healthy new approach, but be sure to support the changes you're making in your ongoing choices. Some patterns can be deeply encoded, and you may need to continue releasing the old habits, all the while honoring the new decisions in your thoughts, actions, and interactions with others. You've broken the chains, and now you can walk away from the limiting attachments into a bright and unlimited future. And the affirmation is, I release attachment and choose peace. I am strong, free, and able to choose what honors me. And I definitely see with this journeyman here, following straight after the attachment card, someone going on a journey, and someone being like, this is like, it's a bit like the Fool card in tarot. It's like being carried by spirit. It's kind of that taking that initial step. He's also holding a stick with a ball on it, which looks a little bit like in the tarot, the Fool card, where he's holding he's usually holding like a knapsack, and he's setting off on this journey. He's taking that first step off the precipice of being carried along. So it's sort of like you're moving out of some kind of attachment to something, whether that was a relationship. It might have been a little bit of a I don't really like to use the term codependent, because it's got a lot of, it's originally attached to those who were in dynamics related to growing up with an alcoholic parent, and that's the origin of the word. And I've read a lot about this topic, and there's a great book about the name of which I've forgotten, but it's to do with like attachment styles, and it talks about the 3 different attachment styles, like anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, and secure attachment. And in that book, the author talks about how a lot of the times anxious attachment people get confused with being codependent, or get labeled codependent. It's actually not codependent. Anyway, rant about that over. The point is that you might have been in something that was more where you were attached in some sort of anxious attachment type way, or some sort of desperate way, or something where you were like really needing something to work out. Now, this could have been in a relationship situation. It could have been in a job. It could have been with money, if that's the type of abundance you want coming in. It could have been with anything, but there was sort of an imbalance, because you've got a lot of energy coming through around going on this journey towards finding balance. The energy you're moving out of is attachment and hostilities, and the energy you're moving towards and the abundance that's going to come in for you is angel of balance and caring connections. But in the meantime, the thing you need to do is sort of set off on this journey towards, I'm hearing like independence, or finding that balance within, so you're not overly attached or desperate about like one thing working out. Now, this could be anything. This could be, maybe it's like that putting your eggs all in one basket. Like maybe it was a relationship you were hoping to like give you were sort of perhaps emotionally dependent on someone or something working out, and it hasn't. So you're needing to set off on this journey towards independence, or finding balance within, in terms of how much time and energy you invest in a relationship versus how much time and energy you spend on like your career, or your hobbies, or your friends, or other things. Or maybe it's like you were attached, or had some kind of desperation or need for one thing to work out. That was maybe a creative project, or a business project, or something like that, or a business partner. Like maybe you'd set up a project with a friend or something, and you were really, really, really attached to that being like the thing, and that being the thing that needed to work out, that was going to be the thing that was going to bring you your prosperity or your stability or security, or like everything that was supposed to sort of solve a lot of problems. And maybe it hasn't, because with that hostilities in reverse, I feel like you have gone through some kind of situation where there was perhaps some fighting, some conflict, some some hostilities from people. So guiding me to the book, there's a guidance specifically in the description of this card. So yeah, defensiveness. Here we go, this bit. The aggressive energy may be verbal or emotional, with someone in your environment being excessively critical, demanding, or hurtful. In a work or social situation, there may have been backstabbing or out and out slander going on. Allowing dishonoring treatment from others is an open invitation to the universe to send you more. It may feel risky, but you need to have the courage to stand up for yourself now and always. And the affirmation for that, although it is saying you're coming, that came out in reverse though, so you are coming out of this. So maybe this is just an energy check-in to see, like, these are the energies you might have been in recently. So you might have been through a hostile period, but the universe is supporting your shift. So it is saying be aware, however, that there may still be some action you have to take, and it may seem on the surface that things are slow and getting better. This card encourages you, letting you know that the inner vibrations are changing and the situation will be resolved. And the affirmation is, I'm receiving the peaceful, harmonious treatment I deserve in my life. I set boundaries, make reasonable requests, and make my expectations clear. So yeah, whether that's in relation to a intimate relationship, maybe needing to set boundaries, maybe needing to set boundaries around your time, or detaching from someone that you might have been overly invested in, or someone who became the connection might have become toxic or hostile or something, or whether it was within a workplace environment, like it spoke about workplace, possibly backstabbing, or just maybe gossip or something along those lines, just something not working out. But I see you kind of going on a journey and kind of letting go of all of that and shifting within. And as you shift within, those kind of situations start to resolve on the outside, and you start to call in more balance in your life and more caring connections coming. And whether that is within, if it's a partnership you're looking for, if you're looking for an abundance of love or abundance of care, that will be coming in as you find that balance within, and as you make these self-honoring choices. I very much see many of you doing that, like fool's journey of going off, like this journeyman here, going off on a journey. This could mean physically, literally traveling, or like packing a little knapsack and going off on a bit of an actual outer journey. But for many of you, I feel like this is an internal journey. This is a sort of, or like a journey towards finding your truth, because we've got the truth card underneath here, and I'm just being guided to speak about this now. So this is your linked with your throat chakra, and we did have with the hostilities in reverse the need to stand strong in your beliefs and speak up for yourself, and go forward with your truth, and this is speaking of the same sort of thing. It's like it being very clear about your personal truth, and it's linked with the throat chakra, which is all about self-expression, being able to express your boundaries, express your truth, say what you want, be really clear about that, and go towards it. And I feel like that's the journey, whatever this attachment or hostilities lesson was. It's like you're letting go of that now, and you're moving into you're going on a journey to find that inner truth. And also with the snake card here, this is to do with like finding that it's like your inner potential. You can see all this inner magic, inner potential, inner like mystical, magical self, like seeing yourself as really like a child of the universe. Like you are a mystical, magical being. You've got all this magic and potential inside you. With the snakes, that's a symbol of like healing and regeneration. Snakes shed their skin. It's a symbol of the divine feminine as well. So it's a very feminine energy. It's about finding that like inner feminine, like blueprint, almost like your own spiritual blueprint, your own unique truth. Like why like your soul blueprint. That's where I was trying to get with this. It's like your soul blueprint. Like what is your soul blueprint? What is your truth? What is the truth of who you are and what you're meant to do? What's your purpose? Like what are you going towards? Like let go of any kind of attachments to other people or jobs that haven't worked out. any kind of dramas in the workplace. Let go of all of that. Just, I feel like you have, because you're coming out of this energy, you know, detach from anything that didn't work out, detach from anyone else's opinions about you, especially if they were hostile, maybe they were jealous of you, you know. And that always says any kind of undermining that you got from someone else, that always just speaks more about them. It's nothing to do with your truth. So there's a need to kind of like slough off that skin of these old, whatever that attachment was, or this hostile situation was. Slough it all off and like come into your own personal truth. And as you find your own inner magic and inner potential and in a creative potential, because snakes are also often linked with the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra in the 7 main chakras. It's linked with the color orange, even though there is no orange on here. But snakes as an energy, they're linked with kundalini energy. So it's like awakening that life force energy, that kundalini energy, that creative spark, that like that ideas energy that needs to like it's like that initial creative spark idea of like, oh yeah, like you know, it's kind of the energy of like, it's quite a, because the sacral chakra governs your like, you know, creative potential, sexuality, sensuality, you know, fertility, that kind of thing. So, but like, you know, all creative ideas have to be conceived in that same like realm, that is the same place like a baby is conceived. So it's like finding that kind of almost like crackling life force potential within you. It's like this energy is very different from this, like with this attachment. It's almost like you were seeing, there was this illusion where you were looking to someone else, perhaps if it was like a little bit of a anxious attachment type dynamic relationship. Maybe even it could have been, and I know I get some people on my channel who have gone through narcissist empath type dynamics. So it could have been that kind of dynamic, where you put the other person on a pedestal or something, and you didn't really have the care and affection and attention that you lavished on them returned to you, and instead there was a lot of hostilities, and you undermined in your truth. You know, you might have even just not been able to really truly express yourself, or had sort of space to be able to be heard or anything. And so there's this need to kind of go on this journey towards finding your inner magic again. And I'm just being guided to, there's something they want me to say from the book, from the snake book. Yeah, so I mean, I've said some of this already, but the snake is the guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. It is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, which is what I was speaking about, that creative life force energy, lies dormant at the base of our spine in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it's well worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within. What would life look like if you woke it up? How can you stir it from slumber? An experienced yoga or meditation teacher can lead the way. Make haste. The snake card appears when there is no more time to waste. And when in balance, it's prosperous. When you balance this part of yourself out, you can be prosperous, creative, and charismatic. When you're out of balance, you may stop and start many things. Start and stop many things. And to bring into balance, it's saying Kundalini yoga and meditation. So I do feel like for some of you, you might be going on a bit of a spiritual journey. There's a need to find balance. There's a need to bring that part of you into balance, so that, you know, you're not attaching to these things that are not meant for you. These things that are misaligned, or illusions where it's like, oh, I need to get my magic, my love, my validation is found in this person, or my magic and my prosperity and all my creative ideas are found in this business idea I set up with my friend, or in this job. I must get it from this job. Like maybe some of you are you're not so much in a overcommitted to a relationship, but you might be overcommitted to work. You might be workaholics, and then there's been a lot of hostilities at work, and you're having to go on this journey towards awakening your true self, your truth, your inner potential, and quickly as well, like finding your creative potential, finding your soul blueprint, like why are you here, what is my truth, what is my purpose, what am I really here to do. Like you're really going on a spiritual journey to find that. And with Angel of Balance, this is a really, really gorgeous card. She's holding this. There's got the like Egyptian pyramids in the background. She's got this beautiful like a vase thing with water, which reminds me a lot of the Temperance card in tarot, which is again all about balance, right? And it's about balancing the like practical and the mundane and the physical world and your needs in the physical world with spirituality and your spiritual connection, your connection with the god goddess within. Balancing your masculine and feminine energies, your yin and yang energies, balancing your own responsibilities and things like that within your life. So for those of you who have had anxious attachments or some sort of a situation in a perhaps romantic or intimate connection where there was just too much attachment going on, it's like you need to balance that out. You need to find a balance between giving and honoring energy for the relationship and keeping that going, as well as keeping yourself going and your life going, and the energy and care and love and attention you pour into yourself. And I feel like this angel is like here for you to say, like, it's like you've got to embody this angel of balance energy and like pour that love, that water, that healing emotional energy into yourself, and like finding your own truth and like healing and yeah, just finding that inner balance within. And then when you do that, your abundance or your blessings that will come through will be, you've got a new romantic cycle begins, which is new moon in Libra, which is in, I think it's the Libra season is what, September to October. So I think it's early October is the new moon in Libra, but you can look that up online. But sometime around Libra season, there might be a new romance that comes in. There might be this caring connection, because this can speak of a person coming in who's very caring, a new romantic situation coming in that's very caring and loving. But it's almost like you've got to find that care and love and balance within yourself first, because with that attachment and hostilities card before, the energy you're coming out of, it's like you were sort of chained to something. You had like given all your energy, like you were giving from like an empty cup, like you'd poured yourself into something and kind of lost yourself, lost your truth along the way. And it had turned, whether that was an intimate relationship or a workplace scenario, but something had turned kind of hostile, or you were, it created a lot of defensiveness. And that could almost even be like your own I'm hearing like your own, almost like your inner child self. This is like a young, that's interesting. This is pictured, this is a young child here holding this cup of like healing waters. So it's almost like your inner child needs some healing here to like find that balance again of like, hey, what, where am I going? Like what's my truth? What do I love to do? What's my creative potential? What did I love doing when I was a kid? Like what really wakes me up? What gets me going? What turns me on? What like lights my fire? And funny truth, we've got fire here, fire and water. So it's like, giving yourself the love, the water, as well as like, keeping your own internal fire lit kind of thing, and not looking for that in someone else, or even within a job or a business or something else, but not needing that like fire to warm you from the outside, but finding that balance and creative potential, that kundalini energy, that connection with yourself, with your purpose from within. And from there, if it's not a romance you're looking for, a caring connection, that this can just be seeing the like romantic side of life. Like maybe you're already in a partnership and that aspect is fine, and this was related to work, in which case a new romantic cycle begins can just mean, it doesn't have to mean a new romance coming in. This can just mean like, seeing the romantic side of life, being reconnected with the like creative potential in yourself and in things. Again, we've got two sets of scales here. So a lot of scales, a lot of balancing energy, a lot of Libra harmonious energy. We did speak of with the hostilities being in reverse about like self-honoring yourself to be, walk away from things that aren't working and stand in your truth, set your boundaries and, really like call in, magnetize in harmonious, balanced, serene, calm, supportive, reciprocal connections, and whatever that might be, whether that's work, receiving equal work for equal pay. That could be, balancing the scales in terms of the effort you put in, you receive your due worth back. It could mean a new romantic cycle begins in a creative project. You go through this, seeing the romance in life again. You've come out of this sort of gray spell, maybe a bit of depression or a bit of just feeling low and a bit stuck to something that wasn't really working out, and you've gone on this journey. You're seeing your potential. You start this new romantic cycle, feeling the romance in life again. The romance in a creative project or even in work. You're falling back in love with yourself, with your passions, your creative projects again. You're balancing your energies. You're very much they're guiding me back to the book again. I'm sorry, they want me to say something specific about the right when I'm in the middle of flowing. How rude, Spirit. Well, I mean, again, but it's a very similar message to the hostilities in reverse, which was being centered and self-honoring in your choices. A strong destiny relies on a solid foundation of personal balance and emotional equanimity. So I feel like if you have been going through emotional roller coaster or turmoil or jealousies from people, attachment to something toxic or that didn't work out, you're really moving away from that. You're moving into self-honoring yourself. You're moving into really caring for your inner child, really loving yourself, finding that balance from within. Although things may have been out of sync in the past, for sure, this card is telling you a greater equilibrium is coming into your life. Remain conscious about how you are balancing your goals and your physical and emotional energy. Whenever you feel yourself getting off center or losing focus, call upon this beautiful angel and bring her attention into your heart center. Your intuition will lead you in the right direction, and the angel will guide you to a peaceful and centered approach. So I feel like you're coming out of that time of magnetizing in hostile connections or connections that weren't very self-honoring because you perhaps weren't really honoring yourself or centered or committed to your own goals. There's that real need to find that balance between your emotional goals and for sure, like, definitely giving if it's a caring reciprocal connection, you're giving that a certain amount of priority, but you're also prioritizing your goals and your needs and taking steps to go after what it is that you want, and standing in your truth and making very self-honoring and self-centered, not self-centered in a, oh my God, she's so conceited and arrogant and self-centered. Everything's all about her. It's not being self-centered in that way. It's just being centered in the truth of who you really are and your creative potential, and making honoring choices from there. And then I feel like for those of you who maybe had been attracting in toxic connections, you won't attract that in anymore. I very much saw this in my own life a few years ago, or several years ago, when I was definitely in that kind of, say, anxious attachment type energy, and I wasn't very centered in myself and my own goals and putting in a lot of energy towards my own things. I was getting swept up in a lot of, say, not a lot, but a few romantic connections, and getting attached to them, and they weren't working out in the way that I wanted, or I wasn't seeing the care or the reciprocal affection in the way that I wanted. And it's because I wasn't really committed to my own self and my own goals. And this is a journey, and I'm not saying at all, don't even for a second think I'm saying oh my God, I'm so much further ahead, or I know what I'm doing, or I have that nailed, because it's a journey. If you have been through some kind of, usually anxious attachment comes from childhood trauma. So for those of you who've had that, I'm truly sorry. I know what that's like. That and many of us, especially starseeds, empaths, sensitive souls, have gone through some kind of childhood trauma of some sort or another. So many people have, and there's a need to kind of take care of yourself, look after your own emotions, plug that love that you're giving to others, that you're wanting to get it from, you know, like if I attach this person and I pour all my love into this romantic relationship or whatever it might have been, this job or something, and then I'll get all the validation and love back from this one thing or this one person. And it's like, no, you've got to give that to yourself, you know, like you've got to be like this little angel and be very centered in your own self, balanced in your own self, giving equal attention to like your needs and your truth and your emotional energy, as well as like your physical, what you need to, you know, take care of in the world, how you want to, you know, give time and energy to your creative projects and things. And then and I do want to say that that is the caveat, because I know some of you might be, if you are really in that kind of romantic longing energy, and I know what that's like. I'm also not knocking that or you know, giving shade. I'm saying because I know what that feels like to be in that. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago, I was really in that like energy of like, where is my soulmate, and that sort of attachment energy that we spoke of when I was reading out the message from the attachment card. It's like that desperate energy, and when you're in that desperate energy, nothing really of lasting reciprocal care comes in, because you're needing that other person to kind of like fill you up or like plug a gap in your life or something like that, and it very rarely works out. And so I can say from experience, seeing these cards and how they've come out, it's like, you know, really tapping into your own creative potential and coming into this balance and finding that love within. That's when this comes in for you. If it is a beautiful reciprocal romantic partnership you're wanting, a truly balanced partnership where it's equal give and take, there's equal reciprocal energy, you know, what you give to them, they give back to you. You know, if you're giving to someone and they're not giving you in return, like if you give a little bit and they don't give anything back, like walk away, you know. And that's part of this self-honoring and part of this journeyman energy of like, walk away from things that aren't self-serving, walk away from things where people are defensive or hostile or aggressive towards you, or using you or only wanting you for one thing, or whatever it might be. Like, you know, you deserve this, you deserve this caring connection, you deserve this new romantic cycle, but there's just a little bit of balance that needs to happen, that you need to kind of really solidify in first before these kind of things are going to come in for you. But this abundance is definitely, you're on the trajectory. If this reading resonated, this abundance is coming in. If that is what you are looking for, that is going to come in for you. And I'm just going to pull a couple of tarot cards from the movie tarot, just to see if we can get a bit more of an insight into specifically what abundance might be coming in. Although I feel like, to be honest, most of the messages came out with the oracle cards. Sorry, these cards are really hard to shuffle. I have actually pre-shuffled these before I started the reading, but okay, let's have a look. Spirit, can I get some guidance on what abundance is coming in specifically for pile number 4? What abundance is coming in for pile 4? 4 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, healing. Coming out of a period of healing from something. So yeah, there was definitely a need to kind of retreat, to like walk away from something that was, you know, swords, that was like hurting you. The 4 of Swords, and in one of my other decks it shows, I think it's in the World Unknown deck, it shows a little lamb, and then the lamb is like protected by this light from spirit, and then the swords are kind of held above. And I feel like that's you. It's like you've been, if something's ended, if an attachment has ended that you're quite sad about, I'm hearing that phrase like rejection is God's protection. So it's like you've been pulled out of that to heal, because that wasn't your true, it's like it wasn't your true love or your true soul's purpose, or